calling the meeting of the Independent School District 204 to order this evening. We do have a quorum of board members. Chair Torkelson is out of town and has asked me to step in tonight as interim to run just this particular school board meeting. And we will start by with our Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll start with taking a motion for approval of agenda.
I'll make the motion.
All right, thank you, Patrick, and a second.
A second.
All right, thank you, Eric. Any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of agenda, state aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Well, on to communications. We welcome our FCCLA student and Leo Club members here this evening.
Some are still coming from practices.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, hi, I'm Rhea Olson and I'm your chapter president-elect here presenting with me today.
Hello, my name is Lana and I'm the vice president of public relations.
I'm Stella and I'm an area officer secretary.
I'm Brindley, I'm our FCCLA president. We wanted to start this out with giving a thank you to our superintendent, and we have an FCCLA sweatshirt for her.
I love it.
Oh, you guys, thank you.
Okay, so we just want to kind of tell you guys about what we've been doing and kind of what we do throughout most of our years, what we've done this past year. First, starting off, as you see, there's a lamp and some sparkles going on that picture. Our chapter theme this year is Whole New World of Possibilities with FCCLA. So we came up with this at our chapter officer training together back in the spring, and yeah, that's our theme for this year.
Alrighty, so what is FCCLA? FCCLA is the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. It's a national career and technical student organization, and our primary focuses are going to be on family, career, leadership development, and service projects.
So as some of you guys know, we are part of the LEO Club, that is Leadership, Experience, and Opportunities. It is part of the Lions Club, and we do a lot of leadership development and community service. Our main focus areas are leadership development and community service, but also global networking, and again, we're part of the KM Lions Club.
Oops. I hit end, it's right next to next, of course. There we go. This one?
Why do we matter so much at our school? Well, as you can see, we have a pretty good group of officers, and there are a lot more of us that just could not make it tonight, but there's quite a few very involved students at Kasson, and we're important because we build leadership skills. And another really big one that I'm assuming you parents would like to hear is that we prepare for future careers. There's a lot of different things like our STAR projects, and it really helps students prepare for the future. And we're also a CTSL, Career Technical Student Organization. So we just help students get prepared for the future, and we do a lot of teamwork and community service stuff too, and that helps.
Our KM-SCCLA chapter is very active with a strong officer team. We have a lot of partners such as the KM Lions, PTA, Salvation Army, and Faith in Action, KM Care and Share, and we do a lot of fundraisers with them. Our leadership development is very strong at FCCLA, and I had a really great experience at this past year's National Leadership Conference where I ran for national office. and I got to learn a lot of great skills like professional development and a lot of skills that will help me in career interviews and job. Sorry.
Just tell them, Delia, you're running from volleyball.
I think Delia pretty much summarized a lot of that stuff, and then I think on the next slide there was, I don't know, maybe I didn't see the updated one, but a lot of the leadership development of like what she said and what Ray is also going on, it helps build our future leaders of America, which is what we are trying to do here, and it builds strong leaders for the school. So I wasn't at this one, but I believe Ray was, so she'll talk about it.
Yeah, me and Delia and Stella were there. Delia and I are state officers for the state of Minnesota, so there's a group of 10 students that kind of help get the show going. And we were here and we helped facilitate different workshops for a bunch of students to do and a lot of very fun activities. As you can see, I think that's Delia on stage in that picture doing Dancing Queen. And we just help the officers build their specific positions. So like a region officer is gonna have different areas that they need to focus on versus a chapter officer or a state officer. So we help them build those skills and a lot of teamwork stuff.
The other area officers and I at leadership camp, we came together to plan the fall meeting that will be held this October. The National Leadership Meeting is a great opportunity to create connections with other FCCLA members and get insight on how other states run their operations and get ideas for your own state and what we can do at our state conference.
So also at our national leadership meeting, we brought back a lot of new ideas, and also, as we know, our national officer candidate was Delia. There was state officer training with Rhea and Oliver, which is, he's not here today. There was a lot, we had a Red Talk presenter group, which is like a big thing. And also our content creator member, Rhea. And yeah, we also had 15 star event competitors, which is really great.
For our chapter officer training, we had a little officer retreat, and then we also had the planning session, which is also where we came up with our theme for this year, which was in the spring. And then we also had another chapter officer meeting earlier like last week or whatever, right? Something around there. We basically just planned out our responsibility and our communication system that we're gonna have this year, and then we focused a lot on our teamwork and our officer responsibilities. So like the picture where we're all laughing, that's a story to be told.
So I'm not going to read off every name because that would take a while and get pretty boring, but as you can see, we have a very involved crew. We have a lot of officers throughout just our chapter officers. We have a good group, and then middle school, we have a team. They don't have specific positions, but they have a small group of kids that just kind of get a feel for a leadership role, and they help the middle school facilitate different events. And then state and region officers, we have a good chunk of area officers. Stella is our secretary, Delia is the vice president of partnerships for our state, and I'm the representative to the board of directors for the state. So we have a really good group here.
Okay, so we have a lot of events and projects that we have planned for this upcoming year. A lot of community service ones, specifically the food drive, which has been very helpful in the past, Salvation Army bell ringing, bingo at Prairie Meadows, and Souls for Souls also. For school spirit, we are part of the homecoming parade, also with tailgating. For fundraisers, we've done bingo nights, and we're doing Mayo Civic Center and taco nights. This just helps us to have everyone be able to, as many people as we can, come to the next leadership meeting, either in state or nationals. We have traditions, FCCLA week, that's within our school. We do a bunch of fun activities during the week to get more people to know about it. Also adoptive family and Comments versus Cancer. And then also we do have a lot of fun team building activities.
FCCLA helps students in many ways, such as gaining confidence, building strong connections with peers from all over, preparing for the future, developing lifelong connections, and making a positive difference FCCLA has a great impact on students that last way throughout high school and college and in our own careers and our home lives. We learn a lot of family skills like facts classes that we take at our schools, and we learn a lot of leadership skills.
Another big impact is connections and friendships. I know that at our national leadership meeting, we became really close with a lot of the southern states, so friends that you wouldn't necessarily make if you hadn't gone to those certain events, and then also just friends from different schools. So we have a bunch of people that we know from like just the southeast area that we wouldn't meet through sports or anything else like that. Thank you guys for listening. Let us know if you have any questions. And I also want to give a big thank you to the Lions Club. You guys are a very big help to us, and thank you for being here tonight.
Board members, opening up for questions or comments of FCCLA or even our Lions Club.
This may not be a big deal, but back in the day it was called FLA, and I was a member, and I remember it being one of the best things I ever did. So good job for picking a great organization that's going to serve you well in the future. You should be very proud of yourselves. And thank you for the sweatshirt.
I just want to say thank you for that whole presentation. I think it's so fun to learn about everything you guys are doing and how you're contributing in a positive way. And leaving here, wherever you guys end up, I'm sure that that will continue and you'll bring those skills with you. It's very impressive, so thank you.
I also just wanted to say thank you for telling us all of that. I think that was really informational, and I'm just really impressed by your presentation and by everything that you're doing in our community. I did have a question. I heard a few times people mention STAR projects. Can you explain more what that is?
Yeah. So basically, STAR project stands for Students Taking Action with Recognition, and for example, this past year I made a hypothetical business plan with 2 other people in my grade, and we presented this hypothetical donut shop that was going to help within our community, and it ranges a lot. You can do parliamentary procedure, or you can do baking and wellness, you can do nutrition, you can do anything across the board basically. I think we have over 30 to choose from.
There's a lot of them. And Ray is not saying, but she did place 3rd at nationals this
Oh,
year.
yeah.
For Miss Raymond girls. That was a huge accomplishment.
I would also like to add for the STAR events, it's just an amazing opportunity for students to get more comfortable with public speaking and also taking action in their own interests and what they want to do with their future. My STAR event was also creating my own business, and I created it was called Bloom and Brew, and it was a coffee shop and a flower shop all together, kind of like a cafe at Key, if anyone knows where that is. But I think it was just a great opportunity to get more involved with FCCLA and practice more in my public speaking and getting comfortable around larger groups of people.
Thank you. I think one of the most wonderful things about FCCLA is the engagement within our community. So we have such strong support from our Lions Club here. We have exceptional staff who support FCCLA to give students opportunities and then for students to be able to engage in it. I had a former KM, I guess she's an alum now, who was very involved in FCCLA, and as you hit on at the end, public speaking is probably one of the things that she learned so much in this organization, and it'll be something that will carry you indefinitely in the future. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you to FCCLA. Thank you to our Lions Club for continuing to support this organization year after year. It means so much both to our school district and our students.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to 3.2, consider resolution for acceptance of gifts and grants.
I, Kate Ryan, introduce the following resolution to accept and move for its adoption. Whereas Rochester Area Foundation has generously offered to donate $5,000 to KMCE for Imagination Library. Whereas KM Girls Softball Booster has generously offered to donate $3,000 for a coaching stipend. Whereas BB Plumbing and Heating has generously offered to donate $2,000 for JH boys soccer uniforms. Whereas Mary Ellen Drangna has generously offered to donate $125 to KMHS Comet Pantry. Whereas an anonymous donor has generously offered to donate $30 for a KMCE Little Comet sponsorship. Whereas Rob Thompson has generously offered to donate $460 to KM Schools. Whereas Pine Ridge Electric has generously offered to donate $355.86 in materials to add a 4-square playground at KMMS.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second for the motion for the motion of adoption for the resolution. Therefore, be it resolved by the Kasson-Mantorville School Board to gratefully accept these gifts and grants total at $10,970.86. Do we have a motion to approve? All those in favor state aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, with that, we'll move on to 3.3, board committee reports. There was no public input this evening, so moving on to, it looks like the only group that has met has been policy. So Erin and I will give the update. There is a laundry list of policies if you didn't have some good nighttime reading over the past 2 days that are up for first approval tonight. I think everything in there for the most part was either statute driven, it was MSBA recommendation driven, or we have seen just as on a 3-year rotation. Were there any specific questions about policy? I'll pull out my notes and we can go through them in particular. All right, well, if there are no questions on the first reading of the policies, we won't dive in any further then. But again, if you have questions before the second reading, please let Erin, Mark, or I know. We went through all of those again last week. Any other board committee reports that should be shared this evening?
Yeah, I wanted to speak on Zed. We'll be meeting this Thursday. And in September, I won't be available for the meeting, so Elizabeth has kindly offered to go to that meeting, so I'll be sure to fill her in on Thursday's meeting, and then she'll bring back the report after September 18th's meeting.
Excellent, thank you for doing that, Elizabeth. All right, with nothing else for board committee reports, we'll move on to 3.4, superintendent communications.
Yeah, we are going to go with a new format. You'll see everyone's report coming in. We took what you said and we valued it a lot. We're gonna make sure that it's one page so that when you go through all of the, things, it doesn't take you hours to read through all the agendas. We also are gonna really focus on our strategic plan and those core values, which are student excellence, collaboration, relationships, innovation, and inclusion. And I won't bore you by reading through this. We are going to attempt to attach this to the agendas. I think it's important for our community to see that ahead of time. So if we're asking all the other leadership team to make sure it's in there on Wednesday, I'd like to do the same. That way, if you have something I'm either missing, we can always bring it up at a board meeting, but you'll have that communication. But a special shout out definitely to our elementary school. To be chosen to be one of the top schools implementing PBIS. This is a pretty remarkable thing. If you think about it, there's 324 school districts in the state and multiple schools within each of those districts, and we're selected to be one of them. Hats off to the elementary school. I know Courtney Free isn't here anymore, but I think she deserves a shout out along with her entire team. Back to school update, you can about imagine we are all flying around like crazy. It's like, oh my goodness gracious. It seems like everything's going well, and then August hits and there's just so much to do. I have noticed something that I think is worth celebrating. People come back to KM. Our applicants are graduates of this amazing school. And I don't know why that makes me so proud. I put an example in here. We couldn't find a school nurse. But but then someone feels strongly about coming back to their community and serving our school. And I don't know why, I just find that so remarkable that we educate our kids, they go out, do great things, but then they eventually wanna come back here and raise their families. So I just added that under relationships. I think that's something I haven't seen in every district I've been in, so I'm really proud of that. Under innovation, I had to add our new strategic plan. You guys worked on it for over a year. We talked about it at our leadership retreat. We actually had a really good time. We went to Oxbow Park, just got a room over there, took some, walk at lunchtime and just did a lot of collaboration and a lot of work. We talked about our why a lot and why we wanna lead. It was really, really powerful, and I'm gonna bring that back to our all-school event that'll happen on August 28th. So I am really impressed with our leadership team, doing great things. And then looking ahead, I just thought if it's not on your radar, make sure you know homecoming week is that September 22 through 26. It's a week full of a million things, so get it on your calendar, don't make any other plans, it's homecoming week. So that's all I've got.
Any other questions or comments from the board regarding superintendent communications?
I would like to say it's nice to see that your presence out in the community. A lot of pictures, a lot of places you've been, and some of the things that I haven't been able to see. It's nice to see that you're tapping into that.
Good, I'm glad you like that, because I like that.
Yeah.
I think making relationships for real and not through an email or something like that, kind of, last night you were walking and drive by you, and those are the kind of conversations you can have with people in the community that seem genuine. So thank you for appreciating that, because I love doing it.
Right, thank you also for modeling the values and presenting your report in that way. I think it aligns perfectly with how it should scale throughout the school district. So I loved this format. It was great and insightful, and hopefully others in our community click on it and read it as well.
I think so.
All right, we will move on to 3.5, personnel is informational items only. And with that, we will move on to our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Kate. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Great, thank you, Patrick. All those in favor of approval of the consent agenda, state aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, we are on to our discussion item for this evening is recording of the board meetings. So our current policy is that the board records all regular school board meetings, which we are in this evening. And so I'll just open up the floor for discussion.
I can start. I think it's valuable and important for transparency's sake to just change our policy to recording all of our public meetings. That way it's very inclusive of the public and nobody misses any action items we take or items that may be of particular interest to them in the community. It's also a great way for us to connect with community because everyone is busy, especially parents and students. We want to encourage their participation at different sporting events, and not a lot of times people are able to get here for sometimes 2 or 3 hours that we like to hang out together. So it's nice to have that reference to go back to.
I would agree with Kate. I just think that it's really important that we build the relationship with the community, and I think that we need to do that by being transparent. So I think that recording all meetings and again, to just working parents, busy families, it's hard to get here for meetings. Even when I was on vacation at our last meeting, I was able to go back and, well, I read the notes and stuff, but just being able to reference things like that, would be able to open it up more.
I'd just like to throw out a perspective, just from my experience in the past. In previous board meeting, prior to me even being on the board, when I would come to a board meeting that wasn't recorded or televised or any of the the dialogue at the board table was just very open and honest, and people were more willing to be vulnerable and asking a silly question or, further insight into said issue that was being discussed. And one thing that has changed since they have been recorded now is that conversation has really subsided. People are really calculated in how they talk and things because they don't want to sound silly or ask a dumb question. So I would say that's one thing that the board has lost in that process.
The only thing that I would add to that, I kind of see that point, and I think also that it allows them to be more, the community to be more interactive with our board meetings when they're here versus when they're listening online, and I think that's important. I would like to see that more than necessarily us recording every meeting, because I think that's more important to see it for themselves than to just hear it. That's just my opinion.
With all due respect, what would you say to people that don't feel comfortable driving at night or cannot get here due to transportation or other things where they're not able to physically be here?
I can't speak to that because I don't have those issues, so I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, that might be something, but I bet that's a very select few versus the people that could be here and be in person. I understand that, and I don't disagree. Either way, it doesn't bother me if we record them because we're going to do what's right for Kasson-Mantorville School anyway. That's the way I feel about it. But I do see both sides of it. The point of it is that I'd like to see more interaction with the people to come in and be a part of and listen. And I just think that would be more of that. And then on Patrick's part, we can be more free and be open and say what we really feel a lot of times. That's just my take.
I think just in the sake of transparency, I mean, I wouldn't mind them all being recorded. And, anybody has access to them. Nobody can question what happened or what was said. Especially, in the future, if we are, trying to raise a new bond or referendum, people are going to want. I think there's going to be more interest, and there's going to be more people who can't come or want to know what's going on. And, I think it gives them a chance to at least have access to that information.
I also think, I actually have seen a behavior shift too, but in a very good way that I've appreciated, more of a formal, professional tone at the board table. When we've been recording previously, when we didn't record, there was a lot of public pressure to record. And the union spent a long time recording for us, which gained a lot of public interest, which weren't that exciting of meetings. So by just being transparent and putting it out, what our meetings actually are, they're usually not eventful. Usually it's very procedural. We're going through things that we're required by law to go through. And unless something is of particular interest, there aren't a lot of people that show up. Previous to wanting to be on the board, Eric, I didn't see you show up to meetings. We don't have attendance often unless there is a hot topic on the board table. Even in forums, the school board members who are, or the people running, especially before, we're only watching online options and weren't physically coming to a board meeting. So I don't think that expectation is appropriate of our community. It's just not something we see and we can't force that.
Other discussion or thoughts from the board?
Just for clarity purposes, when you say all the meetings, do you also mean work sessions? Because there's some confusion there, whether it's a special meeting, a regular meeting, or a work session. I would just love to hear some clarity on that. I know we're not taking a vote tonight, but that would help, because I think there's people that get confused when we say record a meeting. We don't always mean work session. Some of those can be 4 or 5 hours, when you guys were working on the strategic plan. We have capabilities now to do that, but is that the intent when I hear this conversation.
No, not mine individually. We don't really do a lot of work sessions. We did a lot to hire a new superintendent, but I would view work sessions more as like committee meetings where you're doing a lot of the work, and not so much as the formal, special, or regular meetings where we're actually taking item or action on items. And everyone else speak up. That could be different.
I would agree with that as well.
I would say the same.
I think it's just, I mean, that's what I consider the work sessions are outside of the field of study, so.
Right, does that help with
It
clarity?
does, thank you.
So again, this is just a discussion item, this evening, and so, turn that back over to the superintendent, to, bring forward, in the future. Alright, with that, we'll move on to 6.2, our new business. And these are the first readings of the policies, that we discussed previously, and if you had any concern as you read through all of those or go back through them again, please reach out to our policy committee.
That's
Sorry,
fine.
6.1.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I miss 6 point? I did. I missed that first action item, thank you for catching me on that. 6 point, I guess I'm out of practice, huh? 6.1, our first action item is old business, approve the KM School Board Handbook. So this handbook, I think the board has seen a number of times. I think it's been through our policy committee more than once, to review, and I think it's going to be a great tool, for both this board to lay out, our guidelines and policies to follow, but also for future board members as we onboard, a new, board member in January as well. So with that, I'll take a motion to approve the KM School Board Handbook.
I'm sorry, did you make a motion or you're
I'll
taking?
take a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the, Kane School Board Handbook.
We have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Alright, is there, any discussion, before we vote?
I just wanted to thank the committee that went through this so thoroughly, and then all of Carlin's hard work to put this together. I think it's gonna be super helpful moving forward, and especially in January when we welcome a new school board member.
With that, all those in favor of approval of the KM School Board Handbook, state aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Alright, now jumping back to new business, I forged ahead to, so again, I think, we've covered that those are first read, and we can move on to approving the building handbooks, which is 6.2.2. Take a motion for approval.
So moved.
Alright, thank you, Kate, there's a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on the handbooks? Hearing none, we'll make a motion, we have a motion and a second on the floor to approve. All those in favor of approval of 6.2.2 building handbooks for the school year 25-26, state aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We're on to 6.2.3, approval of the foster care transportation agreement. Anything, Superintendent, that you'd like to state on this?
This is a very standard, this is a very standard agreement. We do have one board member that'll be abstaining. She has a contract with, this company, and just to not have any chance of overlap, we're gonna ask her to abstain, but there's nothing new in this. It's just our transportation agreement with our foster care, students.
Alright, do we have a motion, for approval of our foster care transportation agreement?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. The motion and a second on the floor, any discussion? Hearing none, All those in favor of approval of the foster care transportation agreement, state aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. And then we're recording one abstention as well for this evening. All right, and our item 6.2.4, approval of our student lunch price increases for the 25-26 school year. Bob, did you have any comments you'd like to make regarding that?
Not really, it's just a formality that we need to keep that adult meal price above that certain threshold so that student meals aren't subsidizing the adults. So we're recommending a 5-cent increase on both the breakfast and the adult lunches. So, and the student lunches, again, will be free this year provided by the state. So.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the 5-cent increase for the 25-26 school year?
So moved.
Thank you, Patrick. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Eric. Any further discussion on the adult and student lunch prices? All those in favor state aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. And thank you also, Bob, for pointing out that the student lunch will be free to all students again this year. And breakfast, yes. All right, we are on to informational items. Our next regular school board meeting is our special school board meeting is September 8th, and our regular school board meeting on Monday, September 22nd. That, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of adjournment, state aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Did you see the arm?
It's such a great organization.
They did not.
I didn't even notice.
Oh, I think I cried.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
Cute.